Hi guys, it's Tara and welcome back to my channel. Let's be real, it's more likely just a welcome. So, hi, welcome.
Trust you, I'm gonna show you. Beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning bed. Beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning bed.
Yeah, I literally haven't sat down and filmed in, honestly, so long. It feels really kind of weird. But you know what? I missed it, so let's go. What I did, okay. For this video, I'm going to be talking about my third year experience and advice from university. I know a whole new year started, and honestly it's taken me so long to actually film this video because of, again, what I'm discussing in this video. It literally has left me kind of you know, do you know what I mean? It's left me a bit, shaken up ooh. If you guys don't know, I have done another 2 of these videos actually. I'll leave them linked down below, and there'll be timestamps for these videos. So I'll have this video into 2 big sections: the experience section and the advice section. If you want to skip, you can, but I personally advise do not skip anything. Just watch it. I'm not saying that so I can get views. Just actually watch each part, because I feel like it actually would help you or resonate, or I think it's just good to know, because what I'm spilling the tea. Do people still say that? I don't think anyone even says that anymore. Anyway, I'm telling the whole shebang like it is. I don't really give a f. I'm saying what I want to say because it needs to be said. What I'm gonna mention, I wish certain people would have said to me, being as upfront and honest rather than being fake. But it's cool. If you see me looking down, it's because I wrote a whole entire I wrote a whole entire thing to keep me on track of what I'm talking about, or else I'll just do I'll go on a whole tangent. So I don't have enough memory card storage for that, so no, that's not happening. So the first section I'm going to be talking about is my experience for third year experience. And third year was quite something. It really was. Okay, it was something. So the first thing I'm going to mention within the third year experience section, I guess, is my accommodation. And I'm not going to lie, my accommodation was a hole. I'm just going to be honest. It was rubbish. It was rubbish, and it literally was the biggest factor on what affected my third year and made it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not even talking about Miss Rona. Miss Rona, she didn't have she had a bit to part with it, but nah, she wasn't even the whole package. This accommodation was the whole package. They were the one that was you know what, gonna up for her. Boom, it's done, kind of thing. So let me get on to, yeah. Let me first talk about the actual city I stayed in, because I never mentioned it in other videos, because safety reasons. Okay, so I studied in Leicester. I'm not going to mention what university, but I studied in Leicester. In third year, I stayed at this trash loan shark type company called West Manor Student Living. Student living. Okay. But yeah, so they increased the price of the rent, which would have been literally £1 less than where I stayed at in this year, or this past year. Yeah, so it was £1 less than where I stayed at this past year. And I had my own kitchen. It was literally a little studio flat. But the only reason why I left was because I had to pay for laundry, and they raised the price of rent, and because the room, it wasn't really big, so sometimes it felt like things were really cluttered and anything. But other than that, I really loved where I was. Honestly, they accommodated the students so much more, better than this. Yeah, if I knew what I knew about this garbage place when I was picking this place, I would have never gone. And you know what? I would never listen to the fake people who recommended it to me. You're fake, okay? Yeah, so there's that. So yeah, for the facilities for this new place that I stayed in, I was told that I would get a clean, safe, fully functioning gym area. I was told that I will get security on hand. I was told that I would get a fully like properly normal functioning washing machine, a microwave oven that you're able to, apparently according to the person who showed me the room, roast a chicken in it for Christmas dinner. I could not even cook roast potatoes in it. The potatoes were saturated in oil. All they were warm. It wasn't even cooked. Like, they were still raw. Like, and even when I boiled them, there's no crunch, there's nothing. It's just oil. It's just literally oil. So how is that roasting a turkey? How is that roasting meat? If I can't even cook potatoes properly in there, how am I meant to cook meat? I was also told that the building itself was safe, which it wasn't, but it's fine. Like, let me just move on because I don't want to get on a tangent. So let me tell you actually what I got. I got a gym filled with flies, dead flies. Yeah, it was a cemetery of flies up in there. None of the machines worked. They were like, it's weird. None of them worked, but they were all plugged in and they were switched on like as if they were on at the mains, but none of them were working, right? And the rowing machine in there, it looked like it hadn't been touched for a couple of years. And what else? And like, do you know the water that you have in like the kind of rowing machine? It was Shrek colored water. That's kind of insult to Shrek. It looked like it came from a swamp, and I was just like, what? So you have you know, you have the cemetery flies, you have the Shrek looking water or swamp looking water. Let me get that. And then you have the machines that say they work but they don't actually work. Okay. Whew. Take a breather. I'm not sure if other people in other unis and like other countries have this, but in the UK we have circuit, right? You have circuit laundry, and in circuit there's no like drawer where you can put your, you know, you can put your soap powder in to clump it in at different times. No, you have to put everything in all at once, right? And that was kind of part of the reason why I left my other place, so I don't have to pay for a washing machine, because literally circuit is daylight robbery. Is a #1 fraudster. Like, no, not even. I moved to this place thinking, yeah, I can finally actually like have a washing machine how it is at home. I can have like a drawer where I put my stuff in and you know, it can feel like normal, I guess. But no. The washing machine, when I put the soap powder thing in it, nothing, like it didn't seem to run down properly. Like, I had to end up resulting in doing what I did in circuit. Like, the microwave oven, which, you know what? It was garbage, okay? The only thing that I would class it as was a microwave, and that is it. There was no the oven should have been cancelled out of the name of it, because it didn't cook things how an oven would cook things. It lied to me, okay? They lied to me. One of the biggest things that was just like a nail in the coffin, right, was like, we had crackheads coming in and out of the building, doing their drugs, spark, like, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just like, what? And I got rude staff members. The staff members were really, really rude, and they wanted to charge you for every single thing. If they could charge me to breathe, they would. Like, it was a joke. It literally was a joke. They would charge me to call a security team out for my safety. They would charge me for a maintenance man to come and check my room, to check the stuff that they had broken before I even came in. They wanted to charge me for. They tried to charge me because I told them that their gym machine stuff isn't working. Like, anyway, so let me talk about some of the crazy that happened whilst I was there. Some anecdotes, if you will. Right? So let me just go into first what happened when I first moved in. Right? I had to go to the office, collect my keys, do everything, you know. They were a bit, you know, stush, but I figured, you know what, it's busy. It's cool. Whatever. It's cool. It's moving day. It's cool. What is this? What's this? Anyway, and then when I get in there, I'm like, okay. It looked like they hadn't really mopped the floor. Like, nothing was seen properly clean. The flat looked cleaner when I left it. Like, it looked more like you could smell a spring freshness. Like it physically looked cleaner, literally. So I just did their job for them. So once I had cleaned the place to like feel actually safe and comfortable, somewhat safe, right? I think maybe a day or so later, I guess, I get an email from the, you know, from their like little team or whatever saying, oh well, the security guard smelled marijuana coming from your room, and just so you know, it's illegal. Stop it, okay? First of all, I don't smoke. So how are you coming to tell me, oh, well, he smelled this? If he smelled that, it's coming from somewhere else. Don't try to place it on me. And second of all, you know crackheads are coming in and out of the building and they're doing their drugs and they're doing God knows more worse than weed. So you want to come and try and be like, oh, well, the marijuana. Stop it. Stop it. Becky, Karen, sit down. They still have the audacity to come and try and be like, oh, well, you know, you're doing marijuana. Like, come on. I literally sent an email straight back to them after that saying, well, I think your security guard is mistaken because I doing business with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just not my thing right now, kind of thing. That's not the kind of vibe I'm feeling right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Do you know what I mean? So when I told them, the girl, let's call her Becky, Karen, whatever name, either one is fine, right? And I said to her, oh, Becky, by the way, I got this email saying about marijuana. I had to say it. She just said, you know, to appease them, right? Marijuana. And like, I kind of replied saying like, oh, I don't do this, so like, what's up, what's going on? And he said, oh, well, why do I keep doing this? Anyway, she was like, oh, well, it was just like a mass email we sent to everybody. It wasn't intentionally directed at you. Sit down, because you know what? If it was a mass email to all the residents, it would have said, hi, all residents, dear all residents, to all residents of da-da-da-da-da. But it didn't. It was the email that was written like, look, boom, 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 you're smoking weed. Like, that is literally how it was written. So don't come and tell me, oh, it's written to everybody. And you know what? I did further sleuthing. I became Sherlock Holmes, okay? I literally asked some other people, I was like, oh, did they send this email to you? And one of the particular people that I'm gonna like mention that I'm not gonna mention their name, but I'm just gonna say, you know, the piece. They said to me, no. And I was like, what? They said no. So I was like, okay. And keep in mind, the person I asked, she's white, so you know. And at first, like, as I was walking back to my room, I was like, is this a melanated thing? Like, is this a chocolate kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Is this a, you know, just a melanated thing? It's just a black thing. And I was like, no, not everything's a black thing. Like, let me just, it's cool. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And as I thought about it more, and I talked to like somebody else about it, they were like, no, it's a black thing. And like, as I really thought about it, and when I wrote them that letter, that I said to them, like, once I gave them back their kids, I was like, look, you racially profiled me. Not every single black person does stuff like this, so you shouldn't just assume that. And I wrote them that letter saying that, and they still never like if it actually wasn't true, they would have corrected it, saying, oh no, it wasn't, this wasn't our intention, but they never corrected it. So I'm guessing between me and you, it was a thing. But you know what? Karma's happening, and karma's so look out. The next thing is the crackheads, right? And oh my god, like this year, like when I actually think about it, it feels like I was placed in the Truman Show. If you've ever seen that film, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like I was a cast member unknowingly of the Truman Show. Because like when I think about it, I'm like, is this like a big prank they were actually playing on me? Like, is this a prank I don't know about? Because if it is, I want to know the joke, huh? I want to laugh too. All this kind of crazy can't happen all at once. Do you know what I mean? It just can't. So anyway, the crackheads. I didn't even clock that there were crackheads in the building until like one day they sent us an email saying, oh, well, there's homeless people and they're doing drugs. Blah, blah, blah. So they know of this. So they know of the crackheads, they know of the junkies, and they know of what they're doing, their little, do you know what I mean? They know of this, right? And they're not like, why would you not mention that to me before? It's like you want me to get kidnapped. Like, what are you... This happened a lot during the year, but I'm gonna mention like maybe 2 or 3 occasions. The first one where I was like properly like told this is dangerous for you by a security guard, which I had never met before, by the way. Like the security guard people look like random people that can just walk in the street in a black shirt. Like literally, anybody I know can just put on a black shirt and walk in, I'm security. Like literally, it's like that. Yeah, he came looking at my door at like 9 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock, 9:30, that kind of thing. So first of all, that's not business hours, is it? It's not 9 to 5. right? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, companies are so quick to come and tell you 9 to 5 hours. Well, it's not 9 to 5, okay? So he came to me, he was like, oh, by the way, the homeless drug addicts, they're coming in and out the building, so be careful. And because where my flat was, it was a thing where it's like, it was right at the end of the corridor, so there wasn't any other like flat opposite me to be like, help. So, and because my door was like literally opposite the fire door leading to the outside, it was a thing where he was like, oh, well, be careful because your door is close to here where they come in sometimes, and you know, they just sleep down there. I'm like, what? You guys knew of this. You knowingly gave me this place, and you know that I could just be kidnapped at any moment. I could just be snatched. I could just be... Keep in mind that I woke up from a nap, so I was a bit like discombobulated, right? I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what? He's like, yeah, they come down here sometimes and like, they do their drugs. And I was like, look, stop, just stop playing for me, right? So then, one particular morning, you know, I was just feeling, you know, I was just sleeping, and I woke up and I smelled something, smelled like weed. And don't ask me how I know how weed smells like. I live in London, alright? Okay, like come on. People in London do it all the time. So like, it's not a thing where it's like, oh my god, how do you know what it smells like? Like, a lot of people know how weed smells, so let's get over it. Yeah, like I woke up and I was like, what is that smell? And at first I was like, is my room stinking? Like, what's that smell? And I was like, no, it's not me, it's not the room, what is it? And I heard all this like laughing, like, yeah, oh, yeah, like, I looked in the peephole thing outside, and I saw them. I saw 2 of them, and they were just acting like this was like a regular schmegular thing that they do. And I was like, well, And the thing is, I was so hesitant to call the security team, that the guys that, you know, the other security guy gave me the number to call, because this place charges you for every little thing. Like literally, like I said, if they could charge you to breathe, they would charge you to breathe. But then I got to a point when I was like, no, because I want to go out today. Like, I could be snatched. Do you know what I mean? And I know that sounds like really dramatic, but I don't know these people. I don't know what drugs they're on. I don't know what kind of state of mind they're in, so I don't want to risk it. Do you know what I mean? I like life. Like, I want to enjoy it some more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of young. So I still have things I want to do. So I called the security team, right? And the guy was like, oh, them again. I was like, them again? Does everyone know something that I don't know? So then he was like, oh, them again. And I was like, again? He was like, yeah, they come in a lot. And I was like, Bob. Like, his name's not Bob, but let's just call him Bob for now. Bob. Then I was like, oh, Bob. So this has happened before? He's like, yeah. Like, everyone's saying things so nonchalantly. Like, it's got me thinking, like, what's going on? I was like, look, there's 2 of them outside, like, smoking, and like, I don't have a problem, but it's like, I just feel unsafe because I actually want to go out, but I don't feel like safe to come back in, and like, I don't know what kind of state of mind they're in. And then he was like, oh, okay, well, a security person will be sent out for you. It may take a while because we're kind of busy. The fact that you're busy should be like, look, this company is garbage. You should not be associated with them. This West Manor student living. Right? So then he was like, oh, it may take a while, but he's gonna come. So I was like, okay, cool. I thought a while would be like maybe an hour and a half max. No, this guy took like maybe 4 hours, right? And then when he came, he didn't even tell me, miss, we're here, they're gone, don't worry, this. No, he didn't even like notify me that he actually came. I had to use my common sense, again, something that some people lack, right? And like see and like actually like listen through the door and actually peep through the peephole and be like, oh, okay, what's going on, kind of thing. When the guy was talking to the people who had come in or whatever, right? Like, I feel like all of them like know each other. I'm not, like, when I actually think about it, I feel like they know each other. Like, I feel like they're friends. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're chimichanga, campfire, sing-song, pal, best friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just... Sorry about that, the thing just stopped recording. But yeah, the guy was like, oh, my friend, don't worry, we got a call, you have to leave, take your time. I'm like, take, what? Who's doing their job here? Like, take your time. Like, if I'm calling to you saying I don't feel safe, like, you should do your job and be like, skedaddle. I'm being harassed, might I say, badgered, harassed, put under stress, right? Let me not even tell you, because mental health this year, she came to play. She slapped me in the face and was like, I'm back again, kind of thing. So it was like, no. So if I'm put under all this strenuous stress and all this craziness, right, and I'm trying to pay my rent, and they're just living, you know, not scot-free, but like they're just coming in and going as they're pleasing, and like nothing crazy is happening. Like, no. I had to be like, Mum, this is some bull. And she was like, what? And I was like, yes. So like, this, like, I think she didn't realize until I said to her, like, no, I think the security guard is friends with them, because he was talking as if he was a friend of them. So I'm still confused to it by this day. Like, another thing that happened, right, was the maintenance people, right? I came to tell them, like, look, this is not working, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. So let's go back to Becky, who we talked about earlier, right? Hi, Becky. I told her, like, look, this isn't working, this isn't working, this is not working. And then she was like, oh, well, good thing you told us now, because we'll have to charge you. And I was like, charge me for what? She's like, oh, it's like, I think it's like £45 to actually get the maintenance man to come out. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it's £45 to get the maintenance man to come out. And I'm like, stop. Like in my head, I'm just like, what? This is his job. This is what you employ him for. This is what you pay him for. I'm not gonna be another employer. I need a job. Like, no. So she kind of set up the thing for like the man to come out. But I said to her, please do not make him come like between this time period or whatever, because I have a class and I want to be there when he's there. Do you know, I don't want him just tripping around the room because I don't know who he is. Later on that day, I get a call, ring-a-ding-ding, and I'm in my lesson, by the way. So I have to come out and I'm like, hello? And he's like, oh, this is the maintenance man. I'm like, Becky, you had one job. Like, and honestly, I felt so uneasy, because it's like a thing is like, someone just having a... That's London for you. So when he came, right, he seemed as baffled and confused and discombobulated as I did. Probably even more, to be honest, okay? Yeah, so he didn't know how to work it, and I was like, oh, this button, da-da-da-da, right? And I was like, oh, so now, like, once he did his like little beep, right, he was like, oh, working. I'm like, no, it's not working. Do you smell what I'm smelling? Do you see what's coming out? It was like a bit of smoke, and it smelled like something was on fire. And I was like, no, do you see that? And he's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I was like, no, it's not fine, because if there's a fire, I do not want to die, especially in here, right? And he was like, oh no, don't worry, be brave. Yeah. Be brave. So I'm just gonna leap in the fire. Oh my god. I haven't even come to the best part yet. He was like, oh, don't worry, if you see or smell smoke, it's fine, just carry on. Sir, what part of that seems logical and sane to you? Yeah, it was like a thing where he was like, if you see the smoke, if you smell it, if you smell like a little burning, it's fine. Be brave, be brave, don't worry. I had to, like, my head whipped around so fast. I was like, excuse me? Be brave. Like, look, I'm brave, but I'm not about to be crisping up in here. Like, what are you talking about? I was dealing with loan sharks. I was dealing with people that act like they were in the mafia. You're not part of the Godfather. Step back. Also, throughout the whole year, they were harassing me as if they were debt collectors. And not even worse. And it's like what I was telling them was coming in one ear and like out the other. It's like they just were like, okay, cool. Where's our money? And the staff were like low-key so rude to me, literally. It was just rudeness. Like that, on top of the crackhead, on top of the stuff not working, on top of the seeing the dead flies and actually not being able to use the facilities how I desire to. It was just like, but people are like, oh, she sounds hurt. I'm not hurt. It's just annoying. Like, it's just one of those things where you're like, stop trying to fuck me over. I'm not an idiot. Do you know what I mean? And this whole like stress and this whole craziness going on with that place, it really impacted my third year in terms of like it just was a thing where I started to hate third year. I was so excited for uni to finish, and like I low-key kind of got my wish because Corona was like, hi, like, do you know what I mean? Which is a bit like, oh, I didn't mean for this to happen. So the next section is the course / education section, right? So as you know, I did third year, and let me say third year is a lot of work, but it's a lot of independent work, might I say. Like, it's a lot of work where you just don't have a lot of class. Well, you have classes, but they're more directed at like you doing the work independently. Sorry. Was that a burp or a hiccup? Anyway, so as you know, my course was creative writing and film studies, and I really enjoyed it. I think this year we got to like learn how to like create a book and that kind of thing, which was actually really interesting because I never knew about the whole ins and outs of actually going into making that kind of stuff. I had to write a dissertation this year, so I think it was a thing where you were given a bit more like freedom and choice in terms of what you wanted to do. Obviously there were things that we weren't allowed to do because they weren't allowed on the module, or they weren't part of the module, but it was okay actually. And my communication with my teachers this year, it was actually really essential. Emailing them back and forth literally was like a key thing that actually helped a lot this year. I'm now going on to the social life aspects of this discussion. So yeah, this year I joined the hip hop society like last year, and I joined Steppers. Yeah, so I joined the dance society again, which was nice, but I kind of think I didn't really go as much as I went in second year, which is kind of upsetting because I think the whole thing with my landlord people, my thing that went on with the accommodation, it really like, oh my god, it f***ed me up. It really f***ed me up, and it's like a thing where it's like, it made me just be really like in myself and like really like depressed and that kind of. So I kind of was like, oh, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. How I found the societies this year and what I did in them. So my dance society, we did classes, there were socials, that kind of stuff. The parts, or the like, when I did go to the society and everything, I found it good. It was nice, it was fun. Like, it was like how last year was a little bit, it seemed like it changed a little bit, but it's like, obviously there's like new people coming in and this kind of stuff, so things are going to change. But like, yeah, like, it was just like how things were last year. We did the dance classes, there were socials, like stuff like that. So I was like used to when that kind of happened. When it came to Steppers, it was a thing where there wasn't really a lot of socials, which I understand why, because it was just a bit hectic kind of thing. And then what we did in the Steppers, we like maybe every week or so, actually yeah, every week we learnt like a new step, or we would kind of go over steps that we learnt or stuff that they were like teaching or whatever, which was really interesting to learn. But sometime in the year, there was like a thing where there was like a little dance contest thing, and I was like, you know what, let me join. It'll be fun. Like, I haven't danced in a while. I really miss it, that kind of thing. Let me join. So then we did it, and I think personally, I felt like too much time was taken up on that rather than the actual like stepping society itself. And I know that things, like I know that everything can't be done all at once. Like, it's life. But I personally feel like everything was more pushed into like this competition, and the competition wasn't for anything like big. It wasn't like a big kind of thing. Like, it was just like a little thing for fun. So don't you just like feel like your lips are mad dry? So we had the competition, we trained, all this kind of stuff, right? And prior to that competition itself, we would have like sessions where we would come and practice the routine that we were being taught and learned and stuff like that. And I only missed one like practice session, and I told them why. I said to them, like, I have work to do this day, because literally the night before we actually went to like a training session, like, and it was literally till like maybe 12, and initially I only planned to stay till 10 because I was like, I know we're probably gonna have to come again tomorrow and I have things to do, so I don't want to stay up too late because I actually want to get things done kind of thing. And like, I ended up staying till 12 because I was like, you know what, I don't want to be the person who's letting down the group. Let me stay till 12 and let me finish this work and right? So then we trained for however long, many hours, and the next day I was like, I can't come because I have to finish work. And I didn't put this in the group chat, but I'm just gonna say it, I was on my period, okay? I had my time of the month. Do you know what I mean? It's normal. It's normal. It's not anything weird. It's a menstrual cycle. So I was on that. So I think based off of how I felt on the other session being on it, I felt kind of uncomfortable, and I didn't want to kind of like feel really icky again that same day. And I was like, you know what, I have work to do, I have work to finish, and I want this, let me just stay home and then I can go and do the thing tomorrow, because I had learned a lot. Like I knew the routine, like I learned the routine. It wasn't like I didn't learn it, I knew the routine, but I just had to stay home that one session because I was like, I have to finish work and I'm on my menstrual cycle. Do you know what I mean? So I just didn't feel a bit, you know, ladies, you know. So when I woke up in the morning, one of the teammates called me. She was like, oh, we're here, where are you? Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh shoot. Like, so I jumped up, I got ready, I got fresh and everything, shower, all that kind of clean stuff, right? Like, because I really didn't want to be late because I had missed the other session, innit? Like that one session, that one by the way, keep that in mind, one. So then I came and then I was like, oh guys, I'm so sorry, this is what happened, I couldn't sleep last night, I overslept, I'm so sorry. They were like, okay, it's cool, right. As I came in, they were like, oh, let's do like a run through. And it wasn't like a run through where it's like a proper like 5, 6, 7 minute kind of like full out run through. It wasn't like a full out one. I did it, but I didn't half-ass it, I still did it. Do you know what I mean? But I was tired because I literally ran there, so, you know. And once I did it, which I felt like I did pretty okay after coming hella late, rushing, running, still feeling a bit icky, right? And I literally came in, once I came in, I put my bags down, we did it, kind of thing. And as soon as we finished, one of the, like, leaders, I guess, we can put that name there, leaders, I don't know what terms to use, but I'll just say leaders for now. They kind of put me to the side and were like, oh, Tara, you know, like, they were trying to, like, sugarcoat some shit. Like, they were doing like a lot of umming and ahhing, and when they were saying like, oh well, you missed the training sessions, like they said sons as if there was multiple. I'm like, okay, but you know, it's cool. And like, you know, we feel like they were basically trying to say, you're kicked out of the group, we don't want you to do this dance routine, bye bye. It was a thing where it's like I was hearing what the person was saying and I was just like, okay. Like, I kept saying like, okay. And then I left and took some time for myself in the bathroom. And I'm not gonna lie, I had like a little whimper. I cried because I was just like, this is some like, what the f, are you kidding me? Like, I literally was just like, is this a joke? Is this a joke? I was actually like, thought about it. I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I spent my time learning this, but I'm doing it. I don't care what you say, I'm doing it. And then I went up to the person after someone came and talked to me, and I was like, you know what, I understand what you're saying, but I'm doing it. Like, I learned the routine, I know how to do it, so I'm doing it, kind of thing. And they were like, you know what, I respect you for doing that. Yeah, you're doing it. So like, why was there the need to try and kick me out and make it seem like I'm something wrong for the group, as if I'm doing something wrong that's going to affect the group badly? Because if you just didn't want me in the group period, just say we don't want you in the group period, and I would have been like, okay, bye. There was no need, because if you were going to take me back in just as quick after me saying no, and then you come and say I respect you, well, you obviously don't respect me enough because you were so quick to try and kick me out. Like, it's just a thing, like, after that happened, it left me a bit like, wow, kind of thing. Like, it just made me a bit like, like, after that happened, I kind of was just like, I probably shouldn't have joined this, because like, if that's how you're gonna be for something that isn't even like a major competition, or something that isn't even that crazy, like it's for fun, and you like, wow, should I be saying this? No, I'm gonna say it, because for so many years I've held my tongue. My throat chakra needs to be loosened up. Okay, so yeah. My social life within that time that we did have of third year, it was, I would say I more learned a lot about myself and how people are. And like, I learned a lot about it already, but like, it was highlighted more to me about certain people, like how they truly are. I'm not even talking about the whole anecdote I just told you. I'm talking about it just in general, like, kind of thing. So yeah. Also, COVID's effect on my social life, again, it kind of felt the same to me. It didn't seem that much different to me. I was alone before COVID happened and I was alone after. Like, it wasn't a thing where it felt that much different to me. So yeah. So now I'm going on to the finance portion of this video, which, like I said, it was one of the things that really affected my year. or should I say lack of it. So like, let me go into the student finance. Everything was fine with the student finance, and like everything that I got was what I was promised I was getting. So everything was cool with that. But the job sector was where things got a bit kind of iffy. When I think about how much times I've applied for like work in the past 3 years, it just seems kind of crazy. Do you know what I mean? Because like, there has to have been something that would have come to me. So that's why I say I feel like someone just dashed some bad vibes on me. To be like, no, we don't want you to work. We want you to be in scholar. The battery's low, okay? Battery's low. I'm gonna come back when it's charged again. Hi guys, sorry about that. The battery died. But yeah, I'm back. So where was I? The job sector, yeah. So like the job sector was like really iffy, and like it's not even funny. I've been applying for, I'm talking quieter because it's much more later now. But yeah, I've been applying for 3 years, and it's like I just didn't hear anything back. And it's not like I wasn't actively looking. It's not like I wasn't, you know, applying for roles that I know that I'll be good for, because I saw it as there's no point in me applying for roles that I didn't have experience in, or I know that I wouldn't be good for because they wouldn't take me. So, but you know, the roles that I was good for didn't take me anyway. So you know, I budgeted money so well to the point where, like I said, I didn't really go out and spend money in terms of like going out to clubs and this, that, and it's not like I didn't want to, but it's like, if you don't have that in your finances, why would you put that before something like your health or food or like stuff so you can feel like safe, I guess. So I did apply for a job over the Christmas period, and everything seemed really cool. It was really like, yeah, what a change, right? And then sorry if I seem a bit like low energy now, it's just been a couple of hours, so I'm a bit tired now, but I'm gonna finish this. Yeah, so I did apply for a job over the Christmas period, and everything seemed really cool. It seemed really like dandy and everything. And then like I got called in, had the interview, it was great. And then what else? Then I had the trial shift. So when the guy called me in for a trial shift, or told me to come in for a trial shift, like most trial shifts you get paid for. So like, but the way the person insinuated it was as though I was getting paid for that shift. It's a trial shift. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's a non-paid trial shift, the person will specify, by the way, this is a non-paid trial shift. But the person didn't specify that. And the thing that really was like, what was actually going on here was that they just left the whole day. Like they came in, they were like, oh, this is Tara, so and so, this is what they do, this is what they do, shadowed them, boom. And then they just left. And I was like, what? So when the shift was over, I said to me, we'd like for you to come in for another trial shift. And if that one goes well, another trial shift. And then after that, a paid trial shift. And I'm like, so what was this then? For fun, for kicks, for and giggles? Like, what was this for, kind of thing? Like, you just want me to work like 4 to 5 shifts for free, or maybe 3 to 4 shifts for free, and then 1 paid. Like, come on, if you just don't want to give me the job, just say I don't want to give you the job. So that's the whole finance section for this year. So let me move on to the mental health section for this year. And like I said in the beginning, she was here. She was a parent, and she put me through the ringer this year. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because it's a really long thing. It's too deep. But I got through some really like I was really like, there are times I just didn't even want to get out of bed, go to class, like, do you know what I mean? And I think that no one really knew, because I'm not one to be chatting about my business like that, because no, like, you know, just no. The thing that is so funny is that it wasn't even my course that made me feel like this. It wasn't the classes, it wasn't the work, it wasn't the assignments, it was like external stuff. But yeah, it was very isolating. It was very like a thing. I think, like I said, everything's meant to happen for a reason, and maybe I was meant to have my little hermit mode, I guess, and you know, go within, I guess. Next is the advice. Let's go advice. So yeah, like I said before, I already filmed 2 videos like this, so I'm not gonna keep referring to the same advice exactly what I referred to in these other videos, because it would just be pointless. So if you want to check out those other videos, I will leave them down below, like I said, and there'll be time cards for like when the advice section is and that kind of stuff in those videos, so you can go and watch them. Yeah, I'm gonna go into the advice portion for this accommodation. Like, I'm going to go to the accommodation advice part for this advice section. Yeah. So my first advice is, I have it written down here, so if you see me looking down a lot, it's because I have some of the stuff noted down here. So my first advice in regarding your accommodation is, when you're looking for your accommodation, whether it be your first, second, third year, whatever, make sure you ask so many questions. And when I say questions, I mean questions that people wouldn't even usually think of asking. I would recommend asking people who have been there before, but ask people that you know that you can trust, and people that aren't just saying stuff just to be like, oh, it's good, it's okay, it's fine. Like, actually ask someone who you know is going to give you a blunt, honest, 100% truthful opinion. Another piece of advice is, when you go for the viewing or get your info about a particular place, so like, say for example, I'm not sure how things are now because of COVID, but if you, like, even if you have like an online viewing thing and you're talking to the person, make sure you like note down everything that they say. Make sure you have the receipts, I guess. And I don't just mean like receipts for the rent, I mean like receipts in for everything kind of thing. And if you do get the contract, make sure you read through it thoroughly, make sure you make a copy for yourself and a copy for them, and like make sure you just like literally just read through everything. Another piece of advice is, take a picture of the room and everything in it exactly how it is before you settle in, and make sure you hold on to those until like you finish your year out, just in case anything happens. Yes, and one of my last ones before I get into the whole shebang is, never stay with the student accommodation watching my living. Just never stay with them. I'm not sure if it's just Leicester and how they are there, but I would not recommend it. Like, maybe it's better in like another city, but I just wouldn't recommend. So regarding West Manor, and why I'm strongly, like when I say I'm so like why I'm strongly advising you to not stay there ever, is because they don't seem to have the student's best interest at heart. I feel like they forget the term student accommodation in their title. They just think accommodation. People that I know who don't even live in student accommodations have been treated better than how I was treated in a student accommodation. Another reason, I know this seems like I'm just like roasting them this whole video. I'm not, I'm just being honest, because I wish someone would have told me exactly how it is there rather than tell me something is good and it's not. So that's why I'm coming to you with this. But yes, they try to charge you for everything. Like I said before, I've never been in a place where they try to charge you to call out a security man to see if everything's okay in your flat or your building, or to charge you for a maintenance man to come and check out something that is in their flat. Like, if I'm saying this right now, if you're staying in, or if you're thinking about staying in any of their accommodations, let me just say this right now, no, do not do that. Swerve the other way. And if you're currently staying in one of their locations, I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to you. I do not wish that this kind of same thing would happen to you, because it puts a lot on a person. And one thing, if you are currently living with them, don't let them take the piss out of you. Don't let them charge you for things that isn't your fault, kind of thing, and just, you know, things that they actually just don't have any business charging you for, because that's daylight robbery. Okay. So my advice for the course, or for your course education side, if you're going into like second or third year and you are picking like your modules, or when you pick your modules, make sure you pick a module that is like focus is something that you actually want to study. So make sure you check to see who the teacher leader, or like the leader of the module is, so you can try and talk to them before you pick the options, and like ask them what is exactly going on in the module, what exactly do you do, like all the ins and outs before you pick it. What else? Create a routine for yourself regarding your course and like your study life. So like, especially now because uni is on Zoom and like everything's online, so make sure you have like a set time out for uni class. Like once you have your Zoom lessons, or you have your in-person lessons, you come back. If you want to study, do some studying. If you don't, take a break, you can study later on, but like don't let it consume you, because that's when it's kind of thing where it's like you feel like your whole entire life is just your course. Another thing is to learn how to properly Harvard reference. Like when I tell you it's so important, it's very important. In terms of Harvard referencing, whilst you're doing your assignment or your essay or whatever you're doing, keep track of like your research links or notes or like research tools that you have used, and just write them down like in like a document. The last thing is to check Blackboard before like your lesson time starts, because I'm not sure how things are now, but for certain lessons they will tend to like put on the lecture prior to the actual lesson or whatever. Onto the finance portion. I already made a budgeting video, so if you guys want to watch that, you can watch it. Like I said before, it'll be linked down below, and there'll be a card of it somewhere here, maybe here, yeah, I don't know, it'll be on the screen. But another thing I was saying regarding the finance is to try and get a job, and I know right now things are more harder to even get a job. When I wasn't even getting a job, like I said to you before, it seemed like things were just not working out in my favour, but you know. So me saying that, don't feel bad if you can't get one. If you have a talent that you know that you're good at, or something that you know you can make money off, for example, if you know how to edit and you can make posters, or you can make advertisement things and you know that somebody needs this for their company, try and do that. Or if you know you have a skill where someone could pay for it and maybe you've been giving away for free, charge them. Start charging them. I know it sounds like free, charge them. The next is mental health. But yeah, don't stress. I think that's the most thing. Just do not stress. It will all be okay. If you want me to say this for you to just listen, do not stress. It will all be okay. It's fine. Another thing is to surround yourself with positive people who have your best interests at heart, and you know that you can fully trust and be yourself around completely. Just be yourself. Another one is be yourself. Everybody else, honestly, just do everything that you want to do and how you've always wanted to do it, because putting your own happiness first is the best for your mental health. If you need to talk to someone and ask for help or ask for advice, just ask and talk, because there's no shame in asking for help. And I think even me right now, I need to be reminded it's okay to ask for help, because I just don't like asking people for help. I really don't. It doesn't make you look like you're weak. Just ask for help, because sometimes when you ask for it and you actually get it, you're like, wow, I actually really needed this. Wow, why did TikTok has really got me going with this finger thing. Another thing is, do not let what you can't control or is out of your control stress you out, because it's wasted energy. It really is. Put self-care first, and self-care can mean anything between having a face mask and doing your nails to literally having a me day and just doing everything you like, just taking a break from work, all this kind of stuff. Just put your self-care first. Another one is to keep your mind busy and stay occupied and do things that actually interest you, especially now because of COVID and the whole Zoom thing, lockdown, isolation stuff. Keep your mind occupied, and because you don't want to just go crazy in your room, that kind of stuff. So keep your mind occupied and doing things that you actually enjoy. Maybe that don't have to do with the course, so you can pick up a hobby or something like that. Cool. So that's it for the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm so happy I finally just put it out there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it actually helped you with something, or is going to help you, or stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys would like to see more videos from me, be sure to subscribe. There'll be a button on the screen which you can't click to subscribe. I don't think you can, no. But there'll be a button down below, so you can click it, and make sure you click that bell icon so you are exactly notified when I do upload a video. And again, I'm not going to say exact time frame or day or whatever or schedule, because I'm not going to hold myself to that. So that's why I suggest clicking the bell. So when I do, it's a nice surprise. It's oh my god, she did it again. And if you want to follow me on my social media, I've been posting a lot more, which is yeah. If you want to follow that, my Instagram and all that will be on the screen, so you can follow that, and be down below as well, so you can do that. It'll be fun. Yeah. I think that's it. If you guys again want to check out my other videos, check them out. Everything, cards, link down below, all of that. And yeah, I really hope this video actually benefited you and you enjoyed it. And yeah, ooh, I feel kind of light now. I feel really released. That was needed. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you in my next one. Okay, bye.